afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Friday, January 28th, 2022, 3 p.m. Eastern. We have a reverse aging health call tonight at 9 p.m. on this line. Let life touch you. The big invitation for today is to stop protecting yourself from feeling vulnerable and open yourself completely up to allow life in. Let the pain of this existence touch you deeply and intimately. Who knows if this week we will breathe our last breath? Who knows? Do not hesitate or procrastinate your healing process. Right now is all of our opportunity to move through our deepest suffering and come out totally live. We can allow life to touch us deeper by exploring our willingness to be real. This means to welcome every life experience with an open heart and mind. Embrace existence in its totality, because when we are being more open, it actually means that we are becoming a stronger person. The one who is excited about taking on this amazing life fully. There are billions of ways to live this life. Explore the one where you let life come into your soul. Trust in the power of vulnerability. It's an ancient secret passage that will guide you all the way home. Seeking freedom from the mind. When I grip the wheel too tight, I find I lose control, Steve Rapson. The mind is always thinking. That's its job. It's always planning and pretending, hoping and wishing, pondering and probing, dreaming and scheming, and yearning for more. Basically, 99% of the time, our minds are busy capturing data and processing it, assimilating and creating new information. It's extremely occupied trying to make sense of all this data and learn what it needs to know so you can become, do, and have whatever you desire. The mind is necessary to have an experience in this body and is vital for our survival, yet it doesn't know how to stop thinking and discover a permanent state of bliss within. The mind is indeed an awe-inspiring, analyzing machine that functions a lot like a computer. And hey, guess where computers came from? The mind. And yes, the mind can process, assimilate, and imagine anything if given enough time. We could even figure out Einstein's mathematical equations to space and time if we had a few decades and a burning desire. And yet, with all its amazing power, there's one thing that the mind cannot provide for us, and that is everlasting inner peace. The mind is useless when it comes to discovering the eternal spiritual source of joy, love, and satisfaction, which is always at our core. The really interesting thing about the mind is that it only exists in the past or the future. Understand that. It only exists in the past or the future. It only knows yesterday and tomorrow. The mind simply cannot exist in the now, where peace resides. It spends all of its time in the future or the past. The mind is incapable of remaining in a state of peace because all its yearning, striving, and efforting to arrive there just creates more feelings of lacking peacefulness. It is always trying to get somewhere other than here now. It is always wondering what's going to happen. It's always. We dare you to try to keep your mind present in the now for this moment. Try it. Just for a few moments right now. Let the mind reside only in the now and see what happens. So what did you notice? Did life suddenly become more peaceful? You may have caught a glimpse at the crazy life that manifests from living in a mind that is continually obsessed with past and future all day long, all year long, all lifetime long. With the mind in charge, you can never find peace. The mind never stops to rest in the now because it would lose its job. It operates from the perspective that the now is not okay in some way, and thus it must always improve or change it. This is the exact opposite of the energy of inner peace, which stems from a deep knowing that everything is always perfect in the entire universe in this simple, sweet moment. Have you ever wondered what your life would be like if you were truly free from the mind? What would even one day be like for you? For any of us. Imagine that day is today. The birds are singing, the breeze is blowing, and you're able to hear, smell, and feel the beauty of it all. Of course, you could hear what the mind was saying if you paid attention to it. Yet, you choose instead to observe it and not get caught in its entangling dramas. Being the divine witness, watching it all from a higher perspective, you find peace by dropping the mind. True peace is a state of no mind. You can either choose peace or mind. And peace of mind occurs only when there is no mind. It is absolutely essential to know your mind so that you can transcend it. You need to understand how to let go of your mind so that you can find peace in any moment of your life. Start with trusting the process of letting go. Many of us believe that if we let go, we're giving up. That's the illusion. Trust that you are on the path to finding total freedom from the constant chit-chat in the mind. This choice is the first step on an infinite journey. The second step is knowing that your mind is connected to an infinite divine intelligence, that it is always leading you towards enlightenment, even if it doesn't look that way. Third step is to imagine what it feels like to be free from your past, future, all your desires, inhibition, fears, doubt, worries, and expectations. Yes, imagination is employing the mind, of course. Yet what other tool do we have to use to free ourselves from its grasp on us? So keep imagining what it feels like to infinitely dive into a permanent feeling of freedom. Once you can imagine this and hold this thought for several minutes, the real deal will soon follow and find you. Ultimately, we need to use the mind to drop the mind. We need to use the mind to drop the mind. To find total freedom in this life, the mind has to step down from its pedestal and get out of your way. Yet, who's going to coax it to step down? You are. And this decision to choose freedom over everything is the key. You'll soon find something amazing inside you when the mind surrenders and you turn inwards towards the divine spirit that you already are. So relax. Bask in the light of this eternal peaceful experience of pure being. Once you realize that this is available in each millisecond, follow your daily mind chatter. Following it is the last thing you're drawn to. The mind is awfully interesting, and yet the major block in the way to finding true freedom. When we drop all of our attachments to it, we begin awakening to a much bigger reality that goes beyond the walls of what is inside and outside ourselves. When we deeply realize that who we are is not our mind, nor our thoughts, nor our emotions, nor our bodies. When the awakening process begins, start with finding the silence between each thought, this space between ideas speaks to us in a way that goes beyond what can be spoken. By listening to this gap between words, this ordinary life suddenly becomes very profound and meaningful. It is only in this space of silence you will find total freedom in the constant flowing river of peacefulness. You can see that the mind cannot exist in silence. The mind cannot exist in the spacious infinite universe that is everywhere now. If you want to rid yourself of the constant struggle of thoughts and negative emotions in your life, keep surrendering to this silence. Once you find this silence, the mind relaxes and you discover the foundation of your very being. Once you confine yourself to this present moment core, essential, foundational presence, your entire life is instantly healed and enlightened. When the mind disappears into the profound silence of the now moment, you, all of us, will discover that we don't really exist. The personality construct fades into the background, merging with the millions of other ideas. You soon will begin to know yourself as the profound silence and realize you are this infinite, timeless essence that is always present, no matter what crazy thoughts abound. Even when the cacophony of your mind feels almost deafening, this silence of pure beingness continues to permeate everything. The more you allow your mind to quiet, the more you can tap into this ever-deepening, peaceful energy that is our true nature. We are naturally this vast, calm reservoir of silence, even when our minds cause ripples in the surface of this lake. The stillness at the core of our being is never touched. For the next 7 days, spend as much time as you can every morning when you wake up and every evening before you sleep, diving into the gap between your thoughts. Rest deeply into the silence you'll find between each word. Simply close your eyes. Focus on the space that exists between each thought. Notice that in this space between your thoughts, there is only pure consciousness. Relax into this consciousness. If your mind gets busy, which it will, this space will be a very light, small gap. Gently return to relaxing the body and diving into the space again and again and again. Keep diving into these tiny spaces. Eventually the mind will slow down and the space will expand You will one day find this amazing ultimate freedom from the mind. Just keep surrendering to the process. It is a big one. And know that the result is an ultimate freedom from all suffering that will make the rest of your life a living bliss. So if you will, go to the place where you're not going to be interrupted. I'm sure that we all are. And the first thing that we care to do is relax these bodies that we're in. Because we know we're not the body. We're not the personality. We're not the character. We're not our status. We aren't our belongings. We are the God source, the kingdom of God, the heaven, however you want to label it. And the breath is key. The breath is divine positive energy. Most of us take our breath for granted. Some of us have to be reminded to breathe. We come into these bodies, we power them up, everything comes online. The body then, through the lungs and oxygenation, produces the breath. So the breath actually sustains the vessel that houses the kingdom of God, which is all of us. And as you do this, what does the body do? It lets go. It relaxes. You still your mind and ego and subconscious mind. You still it. What that means is that you leave it alone. You don't interact with it. You don't argue with it. You step outside of it. Through the breath, this is accomplished. Easy breath in through the nose and easy breath out through the mouth. As long as you're focused on the breath, you're in the now. The body lets go. It relaxes. You feel lighter. You don't feel congested, pressured, stretched, pulled at all. All of that goes away. The mind chatter that we all have 24/7 is not there. Now, the ego mind will try everything it can to get you back into the rhetoric and the hustle bustle of the mind. It'll pull on you. It'll tell you that this is stupid, doesn't work. Why are you doing it? You get these feelings because we all get them, but you'll stay in peace. You'll choose because the mind and the ego are not the masters. They believe they are. But in eventuality, you will discover that you're the master of them. Because they make horrible masters. They make great servants. So it's a choice. Do you want to continuously live in the past and the future? Because remember, the mind is not going to go in the now. It doesn't want to go in the now. It doesn't care to go in the now. Because it won't exist in the now. And this is why we go into the now. Every single one of these meditations. Practice, practice, practice. And we begin, some of us have already discovered the peace in the now. It's total freedom, being in the now. We don't judge. We don't judge the ego and the mind. We watch it. We watch it and we learn. We learn from the ego mind. We learn how it operates. Okay? And once we learn how it operates, we know how to master it. But you choose to stay in the now. Now, it's very important for all of us to practice being gentle, kind, generous, and humble with ourselves, to be in the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest eternal gratitude. It's paramount. Because in the now, the mind and the ego are constantly working a way to get you out of the now. They're not in it. But they're trying to figure out a way to get you back in their corral. Now, you can look in front of you in this very moment, in the now, and you're standing on a golden circle, the center path in the now. That path is canopied by a bunch of trees, all gold, shimmering, leaves, bark, everything. And the path itself is a brilliant emerald green flaming light. Looks like grass, flaming grass. Now, it doesn't look used. It looks brand new. And then you have the path on the left, the past. And it's the same canopied path, everything, but it's used. It looks really used. And then the one on the right is the future. It too looks used. Now understand, this is where we spend most of our time. Almost all of our time, either in the past or the future. Interesting. That's where the ego mind is. Past or the future. Now, we all reminisce. We all have memories. It's fun to have memories, part of this life. And we visit them. And remember our subconscious mind. Everything you think is literally copied by the subconscious mind. Okay? It's our library. And it has absorbed everything since you were in that baby body. Everything. Thoughts. Every people's thoughts. Everything. Good, bad, ugly. So it's our library. So when we want to reminisce, song can trigger it, or just being somewhere. And you say, this was really a good time. I really enjoyed this time. And you reflect upon it. And you'll go in the library, you'll sit in an easy chair, you'll pick the book up, you'll watch the movies of that time. But then you'll leave. You'll put the book and the movies back. You'll shut the light off and you'll go out the door and shut the door. And you'll move forward. Some of us, however, and I do not believe that it is conscious. I believe it's unconscious. So that we stay there so long that we take that past, we bring it into a future that doesn't exist. We create that future from that past, and we relive that past in that future. That's why a lot of people will say, no matter what we do, we always end up here. Now, then we'll go into the future. The future we create in the now. But the ego mind is in the future, and the ego mind is in the past. You see how this works? And so we go into the future. Because remember, the ego mind is never satisfied. Ever. It's never satisfied. So we go in the future, and we're constantly wanting to know lots of things. When am I going to be wealthy enough to enjoy my life? When am I going to be healthy enough to enjoy my life? When am I going to be able to buy that new home? When am I going to be able to get that new vehicle? When am I going to have enough money? When am I going to be healthy enough to enjoy life? And we all know there's just many, many questions that we have about the future for ourselves. And we suffer because of that. Because we have attachments and expectations. Because of that. Because of the ego mind. Now it's a gray line. It's a very fine line. On when we decide that we desire something, right? We choose to be very careful and very detailed on what it is, one thing at a time, that we desire, that we want. And then, specifically, we send that high vibrational frequency, not a desperation frequency, not a low ebb, not a depressing frequency, not an angry, frustrating frequency, but a peaceful frequency, a content, a doubtless frequency, a deep trusting frequency. And we send it to the universe. And we let it go. Now, each of us, send out 60, 70, 80,000, 90,000 thoughts every 24 hours. We're never shut down. Now remember, your thoughts you send out to the universe. Then, like clouds in the sky passing by, we have tens of millions of thoughts, programs, basically, running by us, flying by like clouds in the sky. The interesting thing about that is that they're not ours. None of them are. That's the trickery of the ego mind. You'll absolutely tell yourself, this is my thought, how can it not be? It's got my name on it, feels familiar, but not too much. And so what we do is we embrace those. We grab the cloud, we ride off. And we're in now, remember? You're in the now, focused on your breath. And none of us are exempt from this. And it can happen several times during the course of our day. And it isn't a negative. But here's what happens. When you begin to go within, you'll discover almost immediately that that's not my thought. And you won't be angry about it or anything. You just know that's not my thought. And that thought will vanish. It'll just vaporize. So when it does pull us out of the now, we just simply are aware of this. And this is no big deal. I'll focus on my breath, and I'll be in the now 3,000% of the time. It's being aware of who and what we are. That's what this is all about. Being aware of who and what we are. Knowing what we aren't. And see, then eventually, not overnight, but eventually, each of us will know. We have a thought, right? And that sometimes we'll say that's an ego. That's ego thought. You'll know it, see? You'll be able to identify it. You won't judge it. You just know. And as soon as you identify it, it vanishes. It disappears. It's amazing. And slowly but surely, you'll become accustomed in your natural state of being in the now. That's peace. True peace. True tranquility. True benevolence. Now, I'm not saying that the ego mind is not constantly trying to move us out of the now. Because remember, it doesn't exist in the now. It knows if it goes into the now, it won't exist. So you can see why the ego mind presses us so much, pulls at us so much, tries to guide us in a constant having, wanting, needing situation. Now, we can relax the body 24/7. You can be walking around with a relaxed body. You can be walking around in the now. Don't need, you can do it 24/7. Once you get acclimated to it, you won't care to be anywhere else but the now. Now, we know that we're not the body, that we're the soul, the higher self, the spirit, all the facets of the one. And so we can look at the body, these bodies that we're in, and we can see 7 lights, each different color, nothing like the lights on this planet. They're much more vibrant, deeper, and expansive. Then they go from the tailbone to the top of the head. What are they? Well, on this planet, they're known as chakras. And the definition of chakra is wheel. So these are wheels of light. Spiritual, etheric energy. We, the gods that we are spiritual, etheric energy. So we flow through them, which connects us to the body deeply from all emotions, everything, personality, character, all the organs, all the blood flow, tissues, everything, right down to the quantum quark, to the mitochondria, everything. So doesn't it make sense that when we choose on our own volition to go within, that we will discover eventually the gods in these bodies that we are the power of healing. We will eventually be able to heal the body that we're in a blink of the eye. Not yet. Some are, but it's a very taskful effort currently. Now, knowing that we are the heaven, the gods that we are, the God source, the kingdom of God, we enter these bodies, we power these bodies, and then they turn around and they sustain us as the gods we are to experience physical form and physical life. So that we know we're the heaven, the body's the earth, we're heaven on earth. Literally. And being consciously aware to a certain extent means that we know that we are of and from the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest, deepest, and purest of the purest, purest, eternal love. It's what we're made of. And every step we take on this planet in this very now moment, we are creating paradise. Not only that, we're shining our light. And the light emanates from our souls, from the kingdom of God, the heaven, pure, deep, eternal love. And we shine it, whether we're asleep or not, whether we're asleep or awake, unconscious or conscious. We are shining our light 24/7, infinity and beyond. Never ends. Love doesn't end. It continues infinity and beyond. And we're flooding this planet. And maybe in this life, we will discover that when we decide to leave these bodies, we will know that we are the light. Following the light is the trap for the gods that we are, for the souls. See how crucial it is to be within on this planet, in this life, to discover who and what we are and to end our amnesia. Then everything on this planet that you see outside yourself will immediately transcend. So if you were to take a starship off planet, right, and you went out far enough so you could see the entire globe, and you would look at it and you'd see that it glowed. There's 8 billion gods in humanoid form on this planet. This isn't even talking about all of the other physical forms that house gods. And the gods enter physical form to do what? Experience that physical form. So you would notice the planet glowed, and you would also notice that all the lights around it in the universe would look like a lit candle in darkness, dim. Now we know that some of us are asleep, some of us are awake. We're all one. The asleep parts of the gods that we aren't awake. They don't participate in anything at all until they determine that they want to wake up. Now, the other parts of us that are awake to a certain extent are the ones we communicate with. It doesn't matter if some of us are 1,000 billion light years away. It doesn't matter. That's the illusion. We're all one. So that's all light energy beings and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. In the numbers of gigaplexes. One gigaplex fills this universe with not even 1 square inch of sacred space to spare. These are trillions of gigaplexes from trillions of universes, all converging here. From where they are, immediately converging here. That includes the archangels, the cherubim, the seraphim, the archetypes, the ascended masters, Kuan Yin, Maitreya, Buddha, Lakshmi, Ganesh, Gaia, Saint Germain, Christ, El Moria, Medantia, Pel, Thought, Yahweh, Yeshua. who's all the inhabitants of inner earth, hollow earth, Agartha, and beneath earth. All of our loved ones who have ascended out of body in this lifetime and all lifetimes that we've inhabited. All the off-worlders, galactics, and celestials. Now, the light energy beings, with the eyes that we have with these bodies, we only see 1% of what is. So they come in shapes, color, sizes, forms, configurations of which we never see, but they're there, the light spectrums, the red, the infrared, the violet, the ultraviolet, and it goes on and on. But there is a group that, with parts of that group, we interact with every day. Fairies, the sprites, the elves, the gnomes, the dwarves, the trees, the trolls, the elementals, earth, air, water, fire, ether, wood, the mermaid, the dolphin, the whale, the pegasus, the unicorn, the centaur, the minotaur. Ask yourself, can this body that you're in continue to sustain the God that I am without water? Nope. What about air? Nope. What about earth? No. About fire, wood, ether? No. And you see how we interact with the magics, the elementals, these bodies. It's all synergistic. It's all part of the universe's perfect plan. Now the off-worlders, galactics, and celestials, over 1,000 species, civilizations travel through the solar system every day. Trillions throughout the universes every day. There is a small group that we're familiar with. Pleiadians, Sirians, Arcturians, Andromedans, felines, Eta Reticuli, Anunnaki, Nords, Greys, Draco, Reptilian, Golden Pyramid Avian. This particular group has been assisting us in our evolution. Enlightenment, ascension, freeing ourselves from our own self-imposed bondage and our own self-imposed slavery. Now the archangels, their civilization vibrated a different frequency than we do. So we don't see them like we see each other, groups, crowds. But we do meet with them, and we have been doing so for lifetimes. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to, oh, you're an angel, right in the middle of the interaction, the conversation, you know. Usually it's after. And not always, but it dawns on us that that was an angel. And we feel bliss. The gods within them are the same as the gods within us. And they deliver a message. They've been delivering this message for eons in many different ways. If we don't always get it, but then sometimes we do. Isn't it absolutely magna glorious, splendiferous, spectacular to be alive in these bodies? To have the opportunity as the gods that we are to experience physical form, physical life. Because when we're not in these bodies, imagine this, we don't eat, we don't sleep, we don't drink, we don't cry, we don't laugh, we don't make love, we don't feel, we don't touch, we don't see through eyes. Imagine that. You can see that's why how seductive these bodies are to us gods. Because we don't do any of that. We're literally bowls of supreme divine energy. Immortal, unending, infinity and beyond. But see, we enter these bodies and we have amnesia. So then we spend our time discovering, rediscovering who and what we are. And sometimes that takes lifetimes. Now, they can surround any one of us at any one time. Because of their vibrational frequency, they can hold a large number in a small area. So you want them to do that, ask them, and it's like a blink of the eye, tens of thousands, tens of millions. And you will be in bliss. Now, the Ascended Masters, they have ascended into physical form and have mastered physical form, and have ascended out of physical form and hold pure consciousness, God form. We have ascended into physical form. We are in the process of mastering physical form. We are creating our experiences to perfect our creation. Now, we're all gathered, so to speak, arm in arm, hand in hand, consciously aware to a certain extent, in full compassion, non-judgment, non-ego, non-negativity, stillness of mind, gentleness, kindness, generosity, humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, prosperity, abundance. And we're all one, and we're all God, and we're all love. And our God force love of light energy is in all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever, and continues to grow, intensify, and expand. We immediately form a white fire circle of light around the equator of this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, and this now. This white fire light emanates from the God source, the kingdom of God, the heaven, which is in each and every single one of us. This is the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest purest, eternal love. And it's flooding this planet. Infinity and beyond. It's flooding all life, the highest supreme value in this universe and all universes. We begin to ascend above the planet, and as we do, we're met with this massive ocean of glitter. Now, it's not like you would picture on this planet. The closest we can come to it is describing a massive grand finale fireworks display, which we've never really had on this planet, and a massive grand finale laser light show display, and a ballroom globe, mirror globe, that reflects all the light as it slowly turns, except this one is 1 trillion times larger and 1 trillion times more intense. And when we combine all that, that's about as close as we're going to get to the ocean of glitter. So we're curious, and we go to the reflective points. We discover these perfectly etched little microscopic mirrors. And we enter them, and we discover that all of us, all the gods that we are, in all the physical forms, are learning and teaching each other. We're either students and teachers, teachers or students, or both. Non-stop, unending, as we journey within. So we're learning all the time, teaching all the time. I'm not saying that we're consciously aware of that, but we're getting there. And remember, the tree is not life. It's the God within the tree that gives the tree life. planet, this planet, is a physical vessel. It houses a God. The God gives the planet life. The soils, the trees, everything. We're learning, in the event we choose to, and we go within, by being outside of ourselves and expanding into the ego mind, physical, material world, then we miss it most all the time. When you have a dog, a cat, a horse, a cow, a moose, bush, you can sit in silence and watch and learn. Bird in the sky, duck on the water. It's fascinating. That's why we reaffirm to ourselves that we have everything we'll ever need. We're immediately met with the emerald green flaming healing light of Archangel Raphael. This is a column of light that we created to remind us all that the gods that we are within these bodies are the power of healing. We're then met with the violet, blue, purple flaming light of Archangel Michael. This is a column of light that we created to remind us all that the gods that we are within these bodies of our omnipotent power, strength, and resolve. We are then met with the white fire. This is a column of light that we created to remind us all that from head to toe, inside and out, we are protected from all lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies, demon possessions, everything. This white fire armor emanates from the God source, the kingdom of God, the heaven, within each and every one of us. It is the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest, purest, purest. Eternal love. Now these lower frequencies, dark matter frequencies, survival matter frequencies, they can't come near us because they know they'll vaporize. Yet, only you have the power that if you decide to lower your vibrational frequency low enough to hatred, anger, fear, greed, envy, hurriedness, revenge, anxiety, dishonesty, manipulation, you will create a breach in your white fire armor, enough so to allow all the lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies to come flooding in. Then the possibilities are endless. Demon possession, attachment, many different avenues. Now, if you do decide to do this, you're immediately met with the purple transmuting flame. This is a double column of light. Purple transmuting flame is the first part of that column. It reminds us all that we can bring in the purple transmuting flame, transmute all these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies into neutralized substance, sending them to pure consciousness where they are no more. The second part of this column of light is the violet ray. We created this part of the column of light to remind us all that we can bring in the violet ray. We can cleanse and purify the area where these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies once were, sealing the breach in our white fire armor, restoring our vibrational harmony, the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal love, gratitude, peace. We're then met with the golden white pink light. This is the column of light that the gods that we are within these bodies created to remind us all that we are the sun, the sunlight, the sunset, the sun rises. The trees, the forests, the soils. the animals, the rainbows, the rain, clouds, the skies, the oceans, the rivers, the lakes, the streams. We're everything. Everything is us. Now, we've all been taught in our amnesia that when we see a sunset, or an ocean front, or a mountain view, or snowfall, or starlit night sky, we say, isn't that beautiful? Try it when the next time you view. That's the God that I am. And this is delivered through our heart minds, not the ego, not the head. That is the God that I am. Whole different understanding. We continue to ascend above the planet. Some of us step outside of our physical form, hover effortlessly above it, if we're carrying physical form. The reason we do it is because it's fun, and we can. We come into full contact with this massive crystalline light tower. We created it. It's larger than the solar system and beyond. In the center of the column, we discover this massive oblong sphere. In the center of the sphere is this golden white bowl of light. It is surrounded by numerous multicolored rings of light that seem to never end. This all creates this massive, super bright white, sparkling, electrified cloud of mist. And it's absorbed into our heart minds, and it feels like a warm embrace that never ends. We discover that the golden white bowl of light is the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest purest, eternal love. Then comes gratitude, well-being, gentleness, kindness, generosity, humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, prosperity, abundance. Now, at the top of this column, we designed it so the golden ocean could come cascading down 360 degrees. Infinity and beyond, as it's doing right now, right in this now. Now, this golden ocean is the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest purest. Eternal love. And we're swimming in it. And it's saturating this entire planet. All life, the highest supreme value in the universe. We're drops of this golden ocean. We also hold the essence of this golden ocean. Golden ocean is drops of the golden ocean, and the only illusion is separation. We see our meditative sphere. It's that center circle. We created this sphere almost 4 years ago. It holds over 1,800 of our meditations in perpetual motion. Now, these meditations, hundreds of millions of us on and off world, consciously aware to a certain extent, every day, 7 days a week, for almost 4 years. These meditations, they intensify, they grow, they expand. You can tap into them any time, flooding this planet. Complete liberation, transcendence of this planet and all life, the highest supreme value in the universe, is happening in this very now. Cannot be stopped. The inner path of healing you is the only way to discover total freedom. Explore what it is like to choose to heal yourself everywhere you go and whomever you are with. I'll join you in the meditation, and I'll return to close us out. Take an easy breath in through the nose and an easy breath out through the mouth. Move easily and slowly. Make the commitment to be with you today and find inner peace with what you cannot. This is your special, sacred, healing day. Wherever you go today, pretend that you are continuously merging with this loving energy and healing experience. Stay connected throughout the day by saying, I am whole, healed, and complete. I am whole, healed, and complete. Focus on receiving the most nourishing, peaceful, and healing energy you can fathom. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and into the following morning. And we will return here tonight at 9 p.m. to continue our reverse aging health call. And tomorrow, Saturday, January 29th, 2022, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call.